Kittu the Wise. We were all in high spirits. Father had brought a lot of fireworks for us to burn for Deepavali. They were all there on the shelf. We were told that we could light them only on Deepavali night, the night of lights. All of us were getting impatient. Among ourselves, we were excitedly planning to take at least a few of the noiseless ones from the bundles and try them out secretly as soon as possible. Gopu was deputed to take them from the shelf since he was the tallest among us and could easily reach the shelf if he stood on father's table. Chandran could procure a matchbox because his brother was a smoker and always had matchboxes in his room. We were game for this thrilling new adventure. If we were caught, no doubt we would all be punished. But sheer excitement and impatience made us forget the thought of any possible punishment. As we were busily conspiring and drawing up our plans, in came Uncle with his ever mischievous smile and his all seeing, sparkling eyes. We were afraid that he might have overheard our secret plans, but we were sure that he wouldn't go and spill the beans. He was always on our side. We knew that Uncle came in and we temporarily forgot our plans. We shrieked our welcome and clearing a seat for him, sat around him. He sat leaning against the wall, laughing uproariously. His laughter was so infectious that we too started giggling. Soon all of us were laughing, yet none of us knew why. Then Raghu asked, "Why, uncle, why are you laughing so much? What's the joke?" I was reminded of a story just now, so I laughed. Uncle said. We eagerly demanded to hear his story. "Please tell us the story," we pleaded. Uncle settled himself comfortably, cleared his throat, and started. Once a man had a very intelligent servant who felt that his master was a fool, and so he never obeyed any orders. He never did what he was told. The kindness of the loving master always found excuses for the servant's disobedience. One day, the cow did not return home as usual in the evening, after grazing in the fields. Naturally, the master was concerned and wanted to send someone in search of the cow, which had perhaps strayed and got lost in the forest. He called his servant and said, "Kittu, you go and search for the cow. She must be grazing somewhere in the fields. Maybe she wandered into the forest, seeing taller grass there." The boy immediately went out. The whole evening the master waited, but Kittu did not return. By early next morning, the master was really worked up. Now both the cow and Kittu were lost. Consoling himself with the thought that the faithful servant would come any minute now with the cow, the master sat on the porch of his house and kept looking out into the fields. Now and then he would get up from his seat to gaze down the long road. It was going to be noon soon. Finally, losing his patience, the master locked the house and started walking towards the grazing fields in search of Kittu and the cow. Halfway along the road, he saw his cow coming along, heading for home. Now the cow was safe. But where is Kittu? I must search for him. He is such a faithful servant. He must still be searching for the cow. Poor boy, thought the kind master and walked on. As he was walking in the hot midday sun, he saw Kittu, sweating and panting, running wildly around a field. The master was afraid that the poor boy had gone mad. He approached the field and called, "Kittu, Kittu." At the sound of his name, Kittu stopped and recognized his master. He slowly came to where the master was standing. Anxiously, the master asked, Oh boy, what has happened to you? Why are you running round and round in circles like this? Up and down all over this empty field in this hot sun. What are you looking for? You were sent to search for the cow. What are you doing here? Kittu sat down on a stone, completely exhausted, and when he got his breath back, he panted. Sir, I couldn't search for the cow because I knew the cow would come back all by herself if she were alive. And if she were dead or killed by some wild animals, I couldn't search for a dead cow, could I? So I didn't search for the cow. Then what are you doing now? Asked the master. Kittu put on a very wise look. I was thinking, I thought I would discover three great treasures in these parts. The innocent master became interested. What treasures? Where? In these parts? Three treasures? Where are they? That is it, continued Kittu. One must be underground, somewhere here. Another must be under the hills, in the jungle someplace. But I don't know where the third treasure could be. So I was running to find it. By sitting down quietly, I would never be able to find the treasure, would I? The master burst into spontaneous laughter, said Uncle, his own laughter suddenly jerking us out of the story world with a shock. What is the joke? We chorused. Well, Kittu was so very intelligent that he would not obey the orders of his kind and wise master. Kittu felt that he was more intelligent than anyone else. To him, all others were fools. In fact, every fool thinks this way. Kittu thought that to search for the cow was stupid, and so he started searching for an imaginary treasure of which he knew nothing. Uncle paused, and we were listening and thinking hard. Children, continued Uncle after a while, generally think they are wiser than their kind fathers and loving mothers. They think that they know more than their precious teachers and elders. So they plan to disobey and they do Kittu acts. They are often just as wise as Kittu. In the silence that followed the story, only Gopu had the courage to put into words what all of us wanted to ask. Uncle, so you overheard all our plans? How long were you there listening to our Uncle burst into gales of laughter again, as loud and long as when he had first entered the room, only now and then stopping to say, Kittu the Wise, Kittu the Wise, before starting to laugh again. We too laughed with him, and this time we laughed at our own folly. Coming back to the fireworks, whenever we think of stealing and burning them secretly, one of us says, Kittu the Wise, and we all repeat, Kittu the Wise. Someone starts running madly and wildly all around the room, and all of us burst into peals of laughter when we remember silly Kittu running around and round the field, searching for an imaginary treasure which didn't exist. Now we are careful not to disobey our elders and become Kittu the Wise.